How dare these vile, filthy Japanese make an abomination as sinful and distasteful as this? A psychotic show about rampant gambling, deception, lust? Oh, how atrocious! How dare they impede the will of our great Lord and Savior Jesus Christ! I must cleanse these subreddits and social media sites from their lustful and greedy. So, Kakegurui is a gambling anime. How despicable. However, I have been asked by the church to talk about it in order to inform the vile and degenerate believers of the anime world how destructive they are being to themselves. Seriously, I doubt any of these people will ever find any sort of companionship. Oh my. Kakegurui is a show that aired in 2017 and is currently available on Netflix. Yay! It has 2 seasons, both of which I have been required to cover in a combined total of 24 episodes. It was animated by Mappa Studio and had a live-action adaptation. If you were wondering. So basically, as you can tell from my intro, this is a show about gambling. Or at least that's what it tries to be. So you got this school, right? Hyakuko Academy, and it's the stereotypical rich, posh, and filled to the brim with overly annoying scumfuck school. However, there is a twist. Gambling rules the hierarchy. Simply put, you better have mad bread, and you better be good at betting with that bread if you want to survive. The people who lose it big and go into debt become literal human slaves, while the rich victorious get money. Nah, they just get fame and cool positions on some student council. I don't really know. So the show starts out with this chump. His name is Suzui Ryota. He's relevant for the first 3 episodes, then dies away. He just lost a match to Mary Satome, and that match officially made him bankrupt, meaning he becomes Mary's slave. You following me? Okay, so then a few days go by with him being a slave, and he's like, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad. I can't. And then this crazy psycho bitch transfer student comes to the school named Jabami Yumeko, and she challenges Mary to some match of some dumbass rock paper scissors thing, slaps the dick out of her, and frees Suzui from being a slave. You know, just like how my boy Moses led the Jews out of Egypt. You know, perhaps this show wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
That was a fucking lie.
Pretty soon, the student council realized that Jabami is on a tear, and they're like, throw everything we got at this hoe. And so the first season is just Yumeko gambling a bunch of the student council people and becoming a slave and not becoming a slave, and extortion and blackmail and literal suicide. Oh yeah, did I mention she gets turned on by gambling? No? Good. Okay, season 2 is like, now you got the president of the student council and her entire extended family, all of which have Bami in their surnames, is coming to the school because it's election time and they all want to be council president so they can finally stake their claim in the fishing industry or something. But Jabami wants in, mainly for the gambling. She doesn't actually care about being president or whatever, so she just challenges the entire Bami family to Yu-Gi-Oh! But pretty soon she turns out to be one of the top contenders for the spot of president, leading to some very interesting interactions. This show may initially sound cool. I think to almost everyone who read the synopsis, this show sounded cool. Like, come on, an anime about gambling? That sounds ill. Unfortunately, the show can be described as okay at best and complete dick sauce at only moderately bad. So, what exactly is my problem with this show? Gambling. And I don't mean that sarcastically in my good boy Christian attitude. The whole premise of this show, which is gambling, is just so ill-devised that if you have literally seen any shonen before, you will be able to understand why it's so bad pretty quickly after the first 2 episodes. Gambling is an industry that is built upon the premise of risk. The sensation of betting it all in a last-ditch effort is the thrill of the games and the thrill of the main character, Jabami Yumeko. The problem is that the focus is purely on Jabami Yumeko, and her success leads to some extremely bland and predictable storytelling. People make outlandish and audacious bets, sure, but as long as they're facing Jabami, it's almost impossible for them to win. Why? Because the shonen genre dictates that the main character cannot lose, and even if they do lose, they will find some loophole or some way to bounce back and beat the ever-living shit out of the person who initially beat their ass. Such is the case in Kakegurui, but the difference is that the traditional shonen formula kills off the charm of the show. Take My Hero Academia, for example. You know Mirio is about to beat the shit out of these three guys, right? But even then, you still want to watch it because you want to know how he finesses these guys, as well as because that's the purpose of the show, right? To quell evil, defeat the villainous, preserve peace. You're watching My Hero Academia because you want to see some people get the shit beat out of them. Well, for Kakegurui, that just doesn't work. As previously stated, this is a series trying to apply the same old shonen formula to a show that's whole premise is about risk. What ends up happening is that the show loses its risky and ambitious appeal because Jabami just wins literally every single challenge. The whole idea of gambling is instantly thrown out the window. There's nothing risky or unpredictable that the audience can confide in. Jabami can literally bet half of Jeff Bezos' net worth, her soul, the Eiffel Tower, half of French Guiana, and still be fine because there has never been a shonen in the whole universe which has the protagonist losing, at least by any reasonable amount. Additionally, the characters really aren't that good. There's only one even remotely interesting character, and that's because she's like psychotically horny. Jabami is fucking insane all the time. Suzui gets forgotten about. The student council people are also stereotypical and uninteresting. Mary fucking hates everybody, and the nail ripper is a baby. The games played in the show also blow. They played like 2, maybe 3 actual games that you would find in a casino. The poker episode was probably one of the only episodes that generated even a tiny bit of suspense in the entire 2 seasons. I believe the idea that they were trying to go for was that by making the premise revolve around more of the psychological aspect of betting rather than the gaming aspect, you could make a much more intense and interesting basis for watching. Unfortunately, all of these games were completely retardedly obvious and easy to deduce. At least show me Yumeko dicking all over some guy by dropping a royal flush on his ass, not some dumbass Russian roulette finger guillotine predictable piece of fucking shit. At least that makes more sense rather than the school running an execution chamber underground. And don't even get me started on the fucking Tower of Math arc, piece of shit. Well, the show is a piece of trash. That's pretty clear. The most predictable and disjointed thing ever made. However, I will admit, this one scene is pretty great along with Ikishima, and just for that, I give it a 2 out of 5. If you watch the show, watch it just for her. I'm not saying you should stick your dick in crazy, but